sick of people referring to me as a woman. I prefer the term titted American. So I do work here. My name is Anthony, and I honestly would rather do comedy anywhere else. I don't have to drive anywhere. I have driven around and done comedy other places. One place I'll never do comedy again is Hillcrest, because when you go to something called an open mic night, you get there and it turns out it's some dude named Mike. So you should all feel entitled. This is the first time I'm doing stand-up sober. So everyone put a drink in the air for me. Boo! And you know what? I mean, I go to bed at a reasonable hour now. I wake up with much more energy. And then when I do wake up, I'm bored out of my fucking mind. Right? What happens is you get to know people and you realize why you need a drink. So, along with me not drinking tonight, I'm also going to be using some new material. It's going to be like Ozzy Osbourne after he went through rehab. You know, instead of going off the rails on a crazy train, it's more like, I'm driving to AA in a caravan. So this is going to be interesting. I think there's a spot in our culture for alcohol. It's been there through history. I mean, even Jesus Christ couldn't get through the whole Bible without having a glass of wine or two. Put that in perspective, though, he was only in half the book. Couldn't make it all the way through. Maybe that's why everyone invited him to parties. They knew he was bringing the booze. In the old water to wine. Water to wine. So, I stopped drinking, and I tried to quit smoking weed, but I'm not a superhero. Yeah! Woo! I think there's a spot in our culture for drugs too. As a matter of fact, I think we should put drugs in schools in the form of complex word problems. Go into a political ethics course and tell your teacher, hey, you think it's weird that marijuana is illegal even though it makes people feel good? And poison ivy is completely legal even though it makes people itchy? You go to a math class, and the teacher, 65-year-old man, on the verge of retirement, reading from some prestigious textbook. So, James has $40 on a Friday night, he's going to a rave, and he has no ecstasy. If his buddy Octavio lives 12.2 miles away, and his, some car model, gets 12.2 miles per gallon, gas currently is going for 3.65 a gallon, how many pills will he be able to pick up if the street value is currently $5? You know what the equation for that is, by the way? E equals MC squared. Asian kids will be fine. They'll still get it. They'll figure it out. But you're going to have the stoners, the cokeheads, the tweakers all getting exemplary grades in high school. Bring a whole new meaning to the term honor roll.
And that's new cash.
Gotta go to my notes. Oh, okay. Hey, do we have any Charger fans in here? I assume so, because we're drinking.
Yeah! And
I love the Chargers. I hate being a Charger fan.
I hate Chargers.
To me, being a Charger fan is a lot like having a gay son. You love them to death, but they constantly disappoint you.
Cheers. 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 That was a good one. That was a good one.
What do we think of American football? It's not American football, it's football. Tell the Europeans that. You know why? Because hand egg would sound retarded. How stupid do these foreigners think when we get them to be kickers in our league? We go overseas to some soccer field in Europe. It's like, hey, you're pretty good. You should play football.
You want to make 40
So I have a dog, and one of the things my dog loves to eat, not nectarines, because they've been sitting on the counter, he hasn't even touched them. But he loves to dig through my trash, find soiled condoms. The first time I found this out was, I was hanging out, and I heard him chewing on a squeak toy, and then I realized he doesn't have a squeak toy.
Yes or no on 4 beer.
Stop judging him. He's a dog. He doesn't live by our standards. But, you know what, I haven't been able to feed his habit too much as of recent, and I feel really bad for him. He's starting to get the shakes. So, I just gotta ask something. You met him. Do you like dogs?
The answer is yes.
What kind of dogs? Do you like dogs?
You like dicks?
You like gigs? Would you like to help me do something nice for my dog?
Give him
I'm
a nice
much more of
treat.
a dog person than I am a cat person, though. Cats are stuck-up bitches. They will even give inanimate objects a cold shoulder. Anyone who has a cat has seen it before. There will be some ball or some toy out, and they will just kind of ignore it, like, no, I'm not hanging out with that. It's not my kind of style. and then just completely out and pounce right back on it. Ridiculous. All right. So, one of the new things I'm getting into is Harry Potter. I'm not reading the books, I'm just watching the movies. And for anyone who hasn't got all the way through, he dies, everyone's miserable, Voldemort wins. That's not really what happened. No, he saves the world. But what do you do after that? Because you imagine that he's 18, he just saved the world, went through so much shit, how much therapy he's going to need for that? And if he doesn't get therapy, you will definitely see him in the media later. I'm waiting for those next 3 books. Harry Potter and the paternity test. Harry Potter and the domestic violence charges. Harry Potter and the sexual assault case involving that heavyset Coco's waitress. I want to write stories at some point. I want to be a writer, you know, do some movies, do some screenplays. I'm currently working on the screenplay for a movie adaptation of the book Everybody Poops. Still a work in progress though, because the plot's a little shitty. I want to bring some old ideas back. Anyone ever see the movie I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Yeah.
Then there was another one, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm going to come out with another sequel. I'm going to call it I Forgot What You Did Last Summer. It's going to meet up with a serial killer 30 years down the road. He's going to have Alzheimer's. Bad time to not be able to read your own writing. Okay. Alright, so I have a friend who has no problem with women, and I'm sure a lot of us have that kind of friend who has absolutely no problem, picks up chicks so easily. And I just get sick and tired of hearing his stories because I have nothing that's factual to compete with, so I end up making up stories. He'll be telling me something, yeah, Anthony, I was with this chick last night, and things started to get a little hot and heavy, started to get busy. All of a sudden she orgasmed, she yelled out, Yahtzee! So I gotta come back with something that relates to that. So I'm like, oh, yeah, so I got a funny story like that too. I was at the bar last night, and I took this 250-pound chick home, drunk, and we started to get hot and heavy, started to get busy. She was riding me on top. All of a sudden, she fell over the side of the bed. I look over the side of the bed and screamed out, Jenga! That is actually pretty close to how my stories are. I got some weird stories. Dated this one chick, first chick I ever went out with, who had breast implants. She was as poor as I am, so she actually got her implants done in Mexico. So since she got them done south of the border, they started to kind of sink south of her border, almost like there was Braille for her vagina. And I'm not vain or shallow, but I couldn't stay with her because anytime she took her shirt off, it looked like 2 angry Pac-Men just staring at you. And when they would jostle up and down, they would even make the sound num 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 num. You gotta be careful though if you're gonna participate in promiscuous sex because it could lead to horrible things like children. Has anyone ever had to? Well, women have, but have any men ever had to walk down that aisle to go pick up a pregnancy test?
Yeah.
Kind of scary, but it was interesting because that was the first time I realized that pregnancy tests come in packs of 2. And I asked myself, why do they come in packs of 2? Just in case they pee on the first one wrong? Oh my god, get the other one. There's some way I found the wrong angle. This can't be absolutely right. Or the other option, they're going to Burning Man and they're about to hop out of the sex orgy pile, and just right before they hop back in, they gotta do a quick screen.
Screening.
I wouldn't hate having kids, but I don't think I'm mature enough yet. I would do something stupid, and the first thing you can do stupid is name your kid something stupid. Is like, try to be creative, like Apple or Pilot Inspector or something. I would try to be creative, elegant, like if I had a daughter, I would name her something like Everest. And then I'd feel bad when she got to high school and every football player was trying to Mount Everest. Speaking of tid Americans, I've heard a lot of presidential jokes, and I think I can solve this country's problems with one idea. We should just make a mom president. Just whichever mom has the most kids has to take care of the most kids. She's got to take care of them, though. We don't need no Casey Anthony's in office, just like taking them out. But the thing is, your mom was always the voice of reason, and she was always right even though you didn't get all the freedoms in the world. I mean, she would overlook the House of Representatives like, hey, Mom, we're going to bed. Wait, are you sure? I know that healthcare bill's due tomorrow. Have you done anything with that? Or they'd be, bye, Mom, we're going to Iraq. No, I don't want you hanging out over there. Every time you guys go over there, you get into trouble, and I'm not going to deal with it again. And then you make a dad vice president, whichever dad killed the most kids. Because I don't know about your dads, but my dad would always give me a look, especially if we were in public and I was making a scene. He didn't say anything to you, but he gave you that look like, I know where you live. As soon as we get home, you're dead. Just have that guy staring down some of the terrorists. We would never get into a war again. That's about all I got. Thank you for the time. Rest in peace, Tom Price.